Alright, so I was going to try a tomato soup. Clean. I've never done this recipe before, but I was making my ratatouille and I kind of thought that it could be the starting point for a tomato soup. And I've got all the spinach and I'm not sure what to do with it, so I'll pop that in it. And I've got these quite nice ripe tomatoes from the local fruit and veg shop, so we'll use them as well. So when I make the ratatouille, you know, you're frying the onions and stuff, and the vegetables, and then adding in the tomato puree and stuff. And I thought that could be the starting point. If I put my spinach in that and I put a tin of chopped tomatoes, that could be the starting point for a soup. So I'll put some olive oil in. These are sitting out because I need to get some more. I'll cut that with a wee bit of vegetable oil. Now, what you could use is these peppers, these jars of peppers. I've had this in my I've had this in my cupboard for quite a long time, and I'm not sure. I just haven't used them. I think this would be a good recipe for them, but because I've got these two fresh ones, I'm going to use them instead. I could use I could really use a slightly bigger onion, but this is all I've got, so we'll just go with it. I have done a tomato soup before, but different to this. It was a Gordon Ramsay recipe and it was very good. You get a tray and you roast on the tray the red onions, garlic and tomatoes, I think. And then you add, you roast that in the oven and then you take it out and then you add in something like stock. And then you boil it up and puree it and put some cream in it, and it's very, very good. Some cream in this as well would be really good as well, I think, but I haven't got any, so we're going to call this the healthier option. So I have made tomato soup, but just not this method. Medium heat. And this is all, it's all going to get pureed, so just chop it any way you like. Kind of one pepper would be enough, but I don't know. I think I'll just stick it in. Might as well. Just a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm not going to go. Not a huge fan of garlic in soups, So I'm just going to go fairly easy with the garlic. And I'm going to put this in now, so kind of relatively early to the way that I would normally do it. So I'll put in fresh tomatoes and the tinned tomatoes. These tomatoes, well, they're fairly, they kind of look quite dark, and they're medium. Usually what happens is the supermarkets come along and take all the, they get the first pick of all the fruit and vegetables. So the supermarkets tend to take the underripe stuff because it's got a long shelf life. And then what's left then goes to the small shops. So I got these tomatoes from a local shop, you know, with all the fruit and veg out on the pavement. And you tend to get riper stuff there because it's got a shorter shelf life and supermarkets don't take it. For this recipe, for this soup, we want very ripe tomatoes. They're actually not, they could be a bit riper. Stick some chilli in it as well, why not? Kind of in no hurry with that because the longer that cooks, the better. It'll just get sweeter and sweeter. I'll put in some of these parsley stalks just now. I put in some of the leaves just before we come to blend it. Put the stalks going in now, should be good. And this is out because this is all I've got. I could probably use a wee bit more than this, but ketchup in as well, why not? So it's kind of along the same lines as the ratatouille. That's what I was doing. I was just kind of getting to this point, and then I thought, well, why not just bung in a tin of tomatoes, a load of fresh tomatoes, one now, I think. Might even put some more in. There's a tomato soup after all. These don't taste of very much. In fact, why not? I'm just going to sit in the fridge, aren't they? They're not going to get cost. You know, they cost nothing. Just not sure if I should use stock in this or not. Temperature up a wee bit. Yeah, I think we'll use it. I'll keep that. Just do 3 tomatoes. Balsamic. Stock. I'm going to aim to not put any stock into this. I think there's so much flavour in there from all the tomatoes, so I'm going to put a couple of good pinches of salt in. Because if you were going to put stock into it, you wouldn't need so much salt. Good pinch of pepper. If I had basil as well, I would be putting that in at the end, but haven't got any. Let's put this in. Sugar in it as well. There's quite a lot of tomatoiness going on in there. So I reckon if I just let that simmer for a bit with the lid on, dark bit. It's just basically ratatouille with a tin of tomatoes in it to give it a wee bit more liquidiness. I mean, that tastes flipping amazing already. This chilli is quite hot. That's really good actually. Yeah, that's lovely. Stick that to 1. I mean, it's really good now. It's really good now, so it's only going to get better. So I'll let that simmer for a wee bit with the lid on so it doesn't evaporate, and then I'll put in all the spinach at the end. And basically, once that's cooked for another 10 minutes or so, 20 minutes, I don't know, we'll see. I'll look at the clock. Once that's cooked, we'll put in that and the spinach and some more parsley, and then we'll get the hand blender into it and blend it into a soup. I don't have any bread, I just realised I haven't got any bread, but that'll be alright. So I shall look at the clock. So I will be back shortly. Alright. So I mean, I think you could probably leave this a bit longer actually, but I'm kind of hungry. So I'm going to crack on and have this now, but that looks really good. Nice and liquidy. So much more liquidy than the ratatouille. So I'll just kind of, this might take over a wee bit, but if there's a wee bit too much, I'm just going to stick it all in, but only because I've got it. Probably wouldn't put this amount in otherwise. We'll just let that wilt down. Tomato and spinach soup, but it should disappear. I'll stick in a handful of parsley as well, why not? To dry a wee bit. It doesn't make it too thick, but there'll be liquid coming out the what do you call it, spinach. I've got frozen spinach as well, that would have been ideal. Could have just put a few cubes of that in. That would have been fine as well. And yeah, no stock in this at all, so that's good. So in terms of salt, healthiness, you know, it's all just good stuff. We'll crank that up a wee bit just to hurry that along. Actually, it would be good to let this cool a wee bit before we I blitz it. So what I'm going to do, I don't have any bread. No, I don't have any bread, but oh, this is not going to be good, I don't think. That's fine. Let us do a. So I've just brought that up to the boil. I'm going to turn it off. Splatter myself. Yeah, I'm going to call that done. So what I'll do is I'll put the lid on it and I'll take it off the heat and I'll leave it. And just because I haven't got any bread, I'm going to make a quick flatbread. I haven't got bread and I'm quite hungry, so the soup on its own just isn't going to be enough. Flat bread I want. Do I want? Actually, let's use these. I've got some strong bread flour. Let's try that. I really should measure this out one of these days, but I can't be bothered. What am I doing? So I want it fairly plain. So we've got tomato, so maybe put some oregano in it. Yeah, I've got a wee touch of oregano here. Wait, let's pop that in. Finish that off. Salt and pepper and a wee bit of baking. We'll go baking powder. A touch of baking powder, I think. Just to kind of see if we can give it a wee bit of lift. And I don't know, maybe I won't use the blowtorch this time actually, because when I used the blowtorch last time, or sorry, just before I used the blowtorch on the last flatbread I did, when I turned it over it actually looked quite nice. It was quite kind of light brown kind of colour, which was good. And I'm just going to use this buttermilk that I've got a wee bit of leftover. This is right on a cusp, this is on its last day, but it's always been kept in the fridge, so it should be fine. I meant to do pancakes with this, but I just never got round to it. I had eggs as well, I don't know why I didn't do it. And a wee touch of olive oil to keep it soft. I think there might be a wee bit too much liquid in here, but we shall see. A wee bit wet, but should be able to. Should be able to make it work. A bit higher, turn it down to 4. We'll see how non-circular I can roll this out to with my least skillful things to do. It's not too bad actually. Having said that, I'm saying I really struggle to roll things out into a circle. So I get all kinds of bizarre shapes. So yeah, the last time I did this, I used the blowtorch on it to give it that blackened kind of those wee black bits on it, which you get from a gas or a stone type oven. I don't know if you can kind of see that thickness, sort of like a coin. I know there's lots of different kinds of coins, but just put that straight on and have a clean up. I feel like a £1 coin, or maybe a wee bit thinner. It's on a 4 of 6, so just took it off the really high heat. So we should be ready to blitz this now. just a wee bit kind of safer to do it when it's not absolutely burning hot. Didn't want to leave it in the tried to flip this the last time, it didn't work. See, I actually think that looks quite pretty, that kind of lighter brown. That should be good. So what I'm trying to do with this is, if you sort of put it down completely flat, it doesn't seem to do very much. So what I'm doing is I'm holding it at an angle, and what you can see is the vortex as it pulls stuff in. You can see it all moving, it's all kind of... Turn that off now. I think we'll call that done. Doesn't have to be 100%. It'll look quite hot. What I was just thinking about there is I can't do two things at once. Obviously, I was trying to count the number of vegetables that were in that. Relative to your 5 a day. So you've got your onions, peppers. There's a wee chilli in there as well. Parsley, spinach. Did I put anything else in? Fresh tomatoes. So I think you're sort of covered, 5 a day wise, covered. Now this, it's really good. It's lovely, a nice wee bit of fresh bread. This, right? What was I going to say there? Oh yeah, let's have a wee taste of this then. That is really, really good. Now that is really good as it is, but what would just lift that to the next level is cream. If you put a wee bit of cream into that, that would be really, really good. That would go really well with it. I don't have any though, so I'm going to go healthy. You can see there's a lot in here, you know, there's quite a few portions in here. Pull that out into my bowl. So nutritious, no stock, not too much salt. You can control exactly how much salt you use. Don't use a wee bit of sugar again, you don't have to add that, you can control that as well. But no, I think I'm pleased with that. As it's a I think to splatter everywhere. But no, there you go. So that's your homemade tomato soup with a homemade flatbread. And yeah, pleased with that. Oh, just keen to get a wee bit of double cream through that. That'd be really good. But yeah, so there you go. So that's done.